Hey, hey, I'm your host, Tamberwolf, and you're listening to AWOO FM. Woohoo! I bet you missed the sound of my voice, huh? This is episode 1 for July 28th. It's a Friday. Um, Everything's already gone wrong. I'm coming down with the flu. Your drink for this episode is a healthy dose of Dayquil because that's what I've been having. Why don't you join me? Uh, Usually when I go sit down to record, I'll have something a little more pleasant to drink, but I don't know, maybe you'll be able to hear it in my voice. I've just been slowly falling apart all day. It sucks. Yeah, normally, smarter heads would say that we should just postpone this, but I've been wanting to get back to recording something for a while, and I keep putting it off, and I keep putting it off, and then I was like, this week's gonna be the week. Let's just do it. We're gonna do it. And then, of course, last night, everything starts falling apart. I wake up this morning feeling like crap, and so it's just been Dayquil all day. Managed to power through work, come home, and now here we are. And yeah, I apologize if I got a little bit of a rasp. Then again, I kind of always sound like that, so hey, whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna hopefully try to just summarize a lot of news for you guys. I know that keeping up on a lot of things can be a little difficult. I spend a lot of my time throughout the week just keeping up on all kind of media news and stuff like that a lot of people don't. So hopefully I can maybe condense some of that down for you in a way that maybe is entertaining to hear. Maybe express a couple opinions about some things you might agree or disagree with. Make some recommendations for stuff to watch or listen to. And occasionally I'll talk about some real world news bits and some stuff that might not be so much fun, but hey, we kind of gotta do it. Yeah. I don't know, this is episode 1, so anything goes. Everything can change. If you're just jumping into the show, let's future-proof it. Maybe you should go listen to some of the later episodes when I figured some of this out, if we even get that far. I don't know. That's always a good idea when you come across the new podcast. I personally recommend listening to stuff from newest to oldest, so you can sort of get an idea for that. But again, that's future proofing. Who knows if we'll ever get that far? I don't know. Yeah. What? I've got some email addresses and stuff set up already. If you're listening to this and you want to give me any kind of feedback, you come up with something. Hey, you want me to watch a thing, listen to a thing, talk about a thing. That's cool. I believe you can just send me emails at AWOO FM or AWOOFM, I guess, however you want to pronounce that, at gmail.com, and I should get those. Otherwise, you can find me on Tumblr at Canis Lupus Musicus. I'm there all the time. But yeah, let's just get right into some stuff. Starting out with like TV and movie news. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. I think for the big story, what really caught my eye and I'm really happy to see right now is that Tracy Morgan has come back to television with a new show called The Last OG. This is his first new bit of material since he had a car accident in 2014 that was really tragic and claimed the life of one of his friends and fellow comedians. That whole thing started a whole legal battle. The driver was working for Walmart. He'd been driving a tractor trailer for I think he started a 12-hour shift or a 14-hour shift after not having slept at all. So the guy had been essentially working for 28 hours straight without sleep. And of course, drove through an intersection, I believe, and slammed into a limousine with Tracy Morgan and his friend in it, unfortunately claiming the life of his friend and seriously injuring Tracy Morgan, who was unconscious for the next 28 hours, required multiple surgeries and stuff to come back. Watching him recover from that accident has been heart-wrenching, to say the least. It's been really sad, but uplifting at the same time to see the recovery that he's made. He's definitely a very changed man. He was always a very I would say kind of an honest stand-up guy. in a lot of ways, very like friendly. And this kind of seeing someone get the wind knocked out of them really hard, but then getting back to their feet and going on to make more comedy again has been a very like positive process, I think. And it's very emotional. If you're not familiar with the actor by name, Tracy Morgan was probably best known for his stay on Saturday Night Live, and also he was on 30 Rock. If you're a little older like me, you may even remember him way back in the day on Martin, where he was kind of like a side character. But he's a great comedian. I think he's hilarious. You should definitely check out his stuff. And if you can get a chance to, just look for any of the interviews he's done after the accident, and you'll see kind of what he's up to these days. It's really positive and awesome to see that he's getting back to television. The show's The Last OG. It's about a guy who's been in prison for 15 years coming back to, I believe it's Brooklyn, and seeing like how gentrified everything has become. It's got a really good cast too, not just Tracy Morgan, but a lot of other names. That should be cool to check that out when that comes out. Also, Dunkirk came out last week. Christopher Nolan World War II movie, soundtrack by Hans Zimmer. Great. I haven't seen it yet myself, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's getting very great reviews everywhere. I hope to maybe get out and see that this weekend or sometime soon. I have to admit, I've been behind on movies bad. I haven't been in the theater to see anything in a while. I think the last thing I might have seen in the theater was Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe. I've been bad. I haven't been getting out to see stuff, and I did fix that. Oops. What else? Stranger Things Season 2 is confirmed for October 28th this year, just in time to binge watch that before Halloween. There's a new trailer for that out, which is awesome. It has Michael Jackson's Thriller in it. It seems to be picking up right where the first season left off. There was a little bit of like a stinger at the end of Season 1. I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it yet, but Stranger Things is definitely something everyone should see. I'm not alone in recommending that as like a blanket statement to everyone. I know we've kind of talked about that before. Check it out. It's a kind of a creepy horror movie made into a series on Netflix. It's just fantastic. Great cast of young actors. They're all back for the next one. Looks great. Check that out. Also on the Netflix front and rounding out our TV and movie bit, BoJack Horseman Season 4, already confirmed for later this year, September 8th. No trailer or anything for that yet, but I love that show. Be prepared to have the shit depressed out of you if you haven't seen that before. All 3 seasons of that are also available on Netflix. You can just sit down and binge watch all of them, but be careful with that. Some of that gets pretty heavy for a cartoon show about a talking horse. I don't know if you can just sit down and blast through all of that in like a couple sittings, but oof, go for it. I think it's one of the best pieces of television I've ever seen, animated or not. And I believe it's won Best Animated Series for the last 2 years in a row, beating out shows like Bob's Burgers and Archer and Family Guy and Simpsons, stuff like that. So it's pretty good. I'm not alone in liking it. Look, it got an award, right? Moving on, we're just gonna snap right along through this stuff. Video game news. The Super Nintendo Classic is selling out all over again, but then it didn't sell out all over again when Walmart pulled all the pre-orders for it, claiming that they had accidentally put the sale page up for that early. So you all have a second chance at grabbing one of those. They retail for about $80 plus tax and shipping or whatever. But people have already like put up like auctions and like scalping buy it now stuff for over $200. So it's another one of those things where Nintendo makes something really cool and then only makes like 50 of them for the whole country. So everyone has to fight each other for them. I can't blame them though. If you guys haven't seen the list of games that this thing comes with, this is insane. I felt that the Nintendo Classic had like some good stuff, but like with a lot of the games on there, they'd been available so many times on so many other platforms and like repackaged as like Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance games. I mean, DS stuff, WiiWare, whatever. That like, I feel like that a lot of the stuff on the NES Classic was kind of like, I've seen this like 100 times. But the Super Nintendo Classic, like, different story. The price, if you're buying the hardware at $80 with all this stuff in it, like, a lot of the games on here, if you're trying to track down cartridge copies of, cost way more than that just by themselves. So this is much more of a steal, and kind of has me thinking about maybe grabbing one. If for nothing else, in the fact that it has Star Fox 2 on it. Like, full stop. Star Fox 2 is finally getting a legitimate release in this thing. It's finally a real game, courtesy of the Super Nintendo Classic. But in addition to... Hold on, water break here. Wash that Dayquil down. In addition to Star Fox 2, you're getting, from the top, Contra 3 Alien Wars, which kind of gives us a, like an action side-scroller shooter game on here, which it doesn't look like the list really has otherwise. So Contra 3 sort of rounds that out. Donkey Kong Country, it's a classic. Earthbound, kind of a surprise to see that on here, especially given like some of the like legitimacy of some of the musical pieces and stuff used in that game. Like a long-standing bit of controversy about like if we would ever get that re-released on other digital platforms was some of the rights to the music and jokes that they make in it. But there it is. It's on the list. Final Fantasy III is on there too. So that's a second like fantastic RPG that would also cost you a lot of money if you want on cartridge. F-Zero's classic game that I think a lot of people haven't played as much. It might be probably most well known just because of Captain Falcon being in Smash, but really good game. Kirby Superstar, which if I remember right, that's a collection of Kirby games. Please don't hate me if I'm wrong, but I think that is the one that has like a collection of Kirby's on it, which is great. Kirby's Dream Course, which was like a odd like miniature golf kind of game, but also cool. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, hello, that's great. Has been re-released quite a few times in other iterations, but hey, that's cool. Mega Man X is really cool. Also has showed up a couple times on other platforms, but you gotta have a Mega Man game on there. Secret of Mana is on here too, another great Super Nintendo RPG, which is kind of a surprise. Not one that I would have thought that they would have grabbed. I wonder like how much debate went into like Secret of Mana versus Chrono Trigger. Like, would Chrono Trigger just be overloading this thing with quality? Can we not do that? Does that be too much? I'm sure that some argument happened at some board meeting for that one. So, we got Secret of Mana, that's cool. Star Fox and Star Fox 2. Again, I already mentioned Star Fox 2. Like, it's insane that we're actually seeing that on an official Nintendo product. That's really cool. Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting. Like, neat. I gotta say that, like, it's interesting to see the compilation of stuff. We're seeing stuff from Capcom, Square Enix, Nintendo, Konami. Like, there's a lot of hands on this thing, which is kind of cool. Nintendo really has a knack for getting all these companies to kind of, like, play along. Speaking of Konami, Super Castlevania 4 is on here. Gotta have a Castlevania game if we're talking about Nintendo consoles. Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Capcom property. This, just looking at this list, this has to be the hardest game on here. This is the, if you want to rage and maybe throw one of these controllers, but not very far because they probably won't have very long cables like the previous generation, but maybe that's for safety. If you're playing Super Ghouls and Ghosts, you won't be able to pitch the controller through your television set, courtesy of those short controllers. Super Mario Kart, it's great, gotta have it. Super Mario RPG, like, hello, okay, 4 amazing Super Nintendo era RPGs on this thing, like, what the hell? Those 4, I think, like, you're getting Earthbound, Final Fantasy III, Secret of Mana, and Super Mario RPG, like, in one box for $80, like, kind of worth the price of admission by itself. Super Mario World, gotta have a traditional Super Mario game. Sorry, I'm choking up. I'm really getting sick here, guys. I'm sorry. Super Mario World, like an actual Mario platformer to go around with your cart and RPG. I imagine asking for like Super Mario All-Stars instead would have just been like way too much. This thing would be insane if it had that on it. Again, if this was just a box with Super Mario All-Stars on it, I think people would have been buying it for that alone. So I wonder, again, like, probably had a discussion at some point where, like, all right, we can't give them that much. That's insane. But hey, Super Metroid's next. Like, not something, I mean, would I expect to see that on there or not? Like, there's already so much value in here. It seems like Super Metroid is just like, again, like, damn, that's a lot. Another great game. They're finally making new traditional Metroid games again, so it's kind of cool to see that they're also bringing that one out again on this console. Super Punch-Out is on here. I would say not as difficult as Super Ghouls and Ghosts, but a definite contender for like the other game that will make you break these tiny controllers. And then finally Yoshi's Island, which is like probably the most contentious Mario game I can think of. Yoshi's Island was one of those like love it or hate it Mario games where I think a lot of people played it and liked it just because it's like in that Mario universe, but there are a lot of serious critics really kind of shit on that game. I don't know, that's up to you. Let me know what you think. Yoshi's Island, a good Mario game or a piece of junk? By all means, like, fire that one off. But yeah, Walmart had previously, I guess, accidentally taken a bunch of pre-orders for these things at $80, and then has canceled all of them, claiming that it was an accident. It was just a joke. Sorry, guys. Refunds for everyone. You can try again later. I don't, unfortunately, have like what the official release date for that is right now, but I'm sure if you camp out online, you can figure that one out for yourself. So hey, if you really want one of those things, if that list of games is selling you on it, like, you have a shot. Go out there and, camp out Walmart's website and see what you can get. Moving on to music news, we got a couple upcoming albums that I'm looking forward to. I haven't had a chance to really rant at everybody about music for a little bit. So, Queens of the Stone Age Villains album comes out August 25th. That should be cool. They had like a weird sort of interview, not quite thing with Liam Lynch, best known for like Syphil and Ollie, among other projects that he's worked on. He directed some music videos and things like that. Where they did like a lie detector test and kind of answered some questions about the album. That's out on the 25th of August. Tara Milos, a personal favorite of mine. I don't know to be a hipster, but I guess I'm going to be a hipster. Maybe a band that a lot of you haven't heard of before, but should check out. They have a new single off their upcoming album, Trash Generator. The single is called Don't Say I Know, just debuted within the last couple days. Very good, kind of like a math rocky indie sort of a thing. You might like, maybe, I don't know. Might be too smart for you, I'm just saying, I don't know. It's cool. If you don't like it, I think that's maybe more you than them. Tyler, the Creator, had an album come out just last week, Flower Boy, which is, I don't know, I've seen reviews call it a big departure for his style, that it's like very introspective and spacey and stuff, but like, I feel like his albums have always had sort of a mix of that, where you have tracks like Who Dat Boy, which has like, goes really hard and is like kind of typical of the genre, but then he does make these other tracks that are like, I don't know how to say, like more emotional, slower, kind of more feely stuff, and they're both good. I don't know how to recommend that to you. I don't assume a lot of the people who are going to be listening to this are big Tyler fans. I don't know. Prove me wrong. That'd be great. Prove me wrong. If I'm totally wrong, again, let me know. I would recommend you give it a chance. You may not like it, but trying it out is important. Stuff you probably will like. Polyphia had a new EP come out earlier this month on the 14th called The Most Hated. Very short, but kind of an evolution of their sound. I've talked about it with some people on Tumblr. Back when we were doing the Friend Zone still, I played one or two tracks from them, and a lot of people responded really positively to them. So I know that that EP, again, The Most Hated, check out 40 Ounce is my favorite track off of it. They just had a video for the song Goose come out within the last couple days. But I think that's one that a lot of you listeners will probably get into. And finally, Despacito, which has been just destroying the airwaves, has already become the most streamed piece of music in history, which had, I think, over 5 billion views or hits or streams or whatever you want to call it. last I checked, which is insane. Good for them. I not my go-to kind of music, but it's like infectious. I hear this so many times at work all day. For those of you who don't know, I service in-car units for like their GPS and entertainment devices. Those big touch panel units that you'll see in the consoles and all their like connected gear. Like I work on that for a living, and so a lot of what I do all day involves poking at radios and other units while listening to like FM stations to make sure the reception and stuff is good. And so I hear this song at least a half dozen times every single day. And I gotta say, it kind of grows on you after a while, but maybe that's just the indoctrination talking. Or maybe it's the Dayquil. I don't know. Give me another shot of that good orange stuff and we'll see. Maybe I'll be dancing. I don't know. But yeah, most streamed piece of music already. We've already destroyed that. I don't know if maybe we'll get in a cycle now every year. Like, will every year's summer jam kind of like blow that old record away? Are we there? Is that what's going to happen or not? We'll have to wait like a whole year to kind of find out and see how this keeps doing. But it's already like that. It only came out, I think, 2 or 3 months ago, maybe at the most. I can't remember when I'm in a void of this stuff. I don't know when I started hearing it, but all I know is that I wish it would stop. But yeah, it remains to be seen if like that's the cycle that we're on. If every year we'll get a new high water mark for that or not. Who knows? That kind of covers it for entertainment and music and stuff. I just kind of recommend a couple things that are on my radar. Shoot, I forgot to write down any notes about anime stuff, which I'm also a huge fan of. Just off the top of my head, we've got Fate Stay Night that sort of franchise has a new series out that's okay. It's kind of typical for the show, but the animation is good. If you just want to see cool drawn fight scenes and stuff, you might want to check that out. Boku no Hero Academia is blowing up. I've been telling people to go read that damn comic for so fucking long, and now that we're on like season 2 of the anime, everybody's going bonkers for it, and it's back to like what I was saying with One Punch Man, where I was like, guys, please go read this, check it out. And then of course it comes out, and it's like, what? This is so good, like fucking goddamn it, listen to me, you shits. That's out, and it's great. It's wonderful. It's actually, having read all the comic and getting caught up on the anime, like, I think that's actually one of the rare shows where, like, I don't just blow it off for having read all of the manga. Like, the show's actually a little different in how it portrays some of the characters, and it delivers some of the scenes that I think they're both good. I look forward to seeing a new episode of that every week. So if you're into that anime joint, definitely. If you're into that, you probably already are all over Boku no Hero Academia or My Hero Academy, whatever you want to call it. I use the original Japanese names, thank you. You'll be into that. You probably already are. Pardon all the ums. Every time I take a drink, you have to take a drink. Them's the rules. We got that, some anime. What was I gonna say? There was something else that got confirmed for another season. Oh, right! Ooh, Fooly Cooly is getting, like, they confirmed, like, a season 2 and a season 3 at the same time, and that was, like, the craziest, greatest news. I was flipping out about that. I talked on our previous show briefly one episode, and I wish I could dig up the soundbite, but I was like, yeah, you know what I would love if they did another Fooly Cooly, and this time it was about a girl growing up. I think that'd be great. And that's exactly what they're doing, so hey, cool, fucking phenomenal. I'm not gonna say like, they stole my idea. I'm happy to see that I'm getting what I wanted. It's nice to think that like somewhere out there somebody was like, yeah, you know, I want that too. Not that they heard me and agree, but like, we had the same idea, and that's cool. Yeah, so that's gonna be, I don't know. Honestly, even if it totally sucks shit, I'm gonna be excited to watch it anyway. That really, like, hits me, like, deep in a place of, like, nostalgia and, like, just even the trailer and listening to the Pillows music, like, really takes me back to, like, a point in my life that, like, it's gonna be impossible for me to hate that show. Like I'm calling it right now. I'm gonna be so biased when that comes out. I'm already gonna be on that like Fooly Cooley defense force. If you talk shit about that show, I'm coming for you. Because the original series is one of my favorites, if not my favorite animated series of all time. It's just so good. It really, like, I don't know what to say. It sounds stupid. Like, it really speaks to me and, like, a part of, like, what I remember from growing up and being that age. Like, it's just one of those perfect shows. So that they're making another one, like, brings me right back to an era of my life that, like, I'm there, dude. I'm in it. I'm so excited. It could be crap. I'm not going to care. I'm going to watch it anyway. I'm going to love it anyway, I'm sure. So, yeah, when that comes out, and I'm on this show, hopefully still by then, saying, like, it's the best anime, it's so good, maybe don't listen to me. I'm going to be so biased. It'll be great. Maybe you keep this bit, come back to this episode, and it's not going to be out till, like, next year sometime. When it comes out, and I'm like, it's shit, it sucks. You'll be able to shove this in my face. I don't know. I don't think I could say that. Oh, and the Castlevania. Sorry, one more thing. The Castlevania anime. Can we call it anime? I mean, it's Western produced, but it's in that style, and it has that animation team and stuff. So, yeah. The Castlevania anime on Netflix. Go watch that. It's very short. It's only 4 episodes long. I thought the animation was great. I really like the characterization of it. It kind of reminds me of the old, like, Spawn cartoon that was, like, super violent, and, like, HBO had to, like, put up all these, like, don't let your kids watch, holy shit, it's not for kids, like, very in-your-face, aggressive, like, campaign of, like, not letting kids watch this. And, of course, I was watching it when I was, like, 14 anyway, because, fuck you, Mom and Dad, I watch what I want. It reminded me a lot of that kind of animation style and some of that storytelling. Not the most dramatically important show you're ever going to see, and it takes some liberties with the franchise and the story, but I think it's all for the better. It turns out to be something that's surprisingly enjoyable for surprisingly good. Jeez, pardon. How many times am I going to have to choke on these words? Surprisingly good for a video game to, like, video motion adaptation. I mean, like, the standard for that is so fucking low. Like, what are we comparing it to? Like, the Doom movie with The Rock in it? The Super Mario Brothers movie with John Leguizamo in it? I must be missing something. There must be other good video game to, like, movie adaptations out there. That Resident Evil CG movies can be kind of fun to watch. They're cool. But otherwise, I really don't know anything that really did a good job. But this is good, and you should check that out. So I don't know. Wrapping it up, we'll get to something maybe a little serious. So, if you're just in it for the fun and games, maybe this is the time when you tune out. But I kind of wanted to talk about this just for a minute. There's something going around the internet called the Blue Whale Challenge. Super serious now. We're going from talking to anime to something that's, like, caused over 130 suicides. Apparently this is, like, a series of challenges and stuff on social media where people are, like, getting hooked up with people who will, like, antagonize them and encourage them to do things like self-harm, belittle themselves, deprive themselves of sleep, send them money. I don't get quite the relationship of how this works, and I think I'm with a lot of the other, like, news media where we're not sure, like, how this is even getting assembled. The guy who started all of this, some Russian dude, just got put away for 3 years for, like, creating this whole phenomenon, but it's kind of gotten legs, and even without him involved, like, it's gonna keep going and be a thing. So I kind of just wanted to say, like, hey, if you're listening to this and, like, depressed about stuff, like, send me a line. We'll talk about it. Like, what's happening here is people are preying on people who are feeling depressed or lonely, and I think what the people who are connecting with this and becoming victimized by it what they're getting out of it is sort of the attention. I think the draw for them is that, hey, someone is, like, at least connecting with my life and connecting with me and paying attention to me and stuff. And the fucking awful soulless people who are abusing this whole thing are using this to kind of just like it's like the sociopathic controlling like power play for them, where they're ruining these people's lives, but they're able to do it because I think the people who are like looking for this and participating it in the first place are just so out of it and alone that they'll take anything that they can get in terms of like human contact and stuff. So I just wanted to say, like, we're here for you. Like, I know that I try to put myself out there for anybody who wants to talk about stuff. You'll see me, I rant a lot about like my own shitty feelings and stuff like that, but no matter how bad I am or how shitty I feel, like, I'm always up for helping someone else. Like, I can put my own garbage away for a bit and help someone else with their stuff. Like, don't do that. If not me, like, you know, I know other people. I do have a good community of friends and other caring people that, like, we can get you hooked up with someone who can be your friend, all right? Like, we're all out here. Like, we're all in this together. There's no reason for people to be this lonely, that they're finding this. And it's disgusting that there are people who are recognizing this problem in other people, but then taking advantage of it in a way that, you know, encourages these people to commit suicide and self-harm and stuff. And it's just for their gross gratification, and they're like extorting money out of these people. It's just fucking ridiculous. So, like, don't let that happen. It's weird. Like, I almost don't even want to talk about it, but I feel like I need to bring it up. I don't want other people looking. It's one of those things you don't want to talk about it because you don't want other people to go look into it and find that shit. But, like, I feel like maybe I can help cut it off. I don't know, if you happen to hear this and you're in that situation, you know, get a hold of us. You know, there's a bunch of, it's not me, then I know other people that we can help you out. Like, it's really shitty. And it's astounding. It's really depressing to even think that there are people out there who are capable of this. And I hate to, like, end on that note, but that was kind of the big news bit. Maybe we'll rearrange the order in which we talk about these topics for future episodes, so we're not kind of wrapping it up on such a fucking downer. I'm sorry, but you know, to put it in a positive way, like, that's bullshit. Like, you don't need to do that. There are better people in the world that you can find and connect with. Like, there are support networks out there. Like, this is trash. This is shitty. These are people in need of, like, friendship, and people who need other human beings who are just finding the wrong kind of people, and we need to put a stop to that. It's not their fault for feeling shitty and, like, trying to find a place where they can be important and acknowledged. It's the fault of the people who are taking advantage of that and driving people into this stuff. And I think that we can stop this kind of a thing. So, yeah. Heavy, I'm sorry. It's the Dayquil talking. We'll get over it. I will come back next week a little healthier, a little less gross. We'll try to find some news that isn't as gross to talk about. Maybe yes, no. I don't know. It's like I said, this is episode 1. We're just kind of out here in the weeds. It's all just evolving as it happens. I don't know. Let me know what you want to hear or not hear. Maybe we won't ever do that again. I'm sorry if that sucks. But yeah, thank you for listening. I will hopefully keep showing up again. I might start trying to put like a video component to these. I don't know. Like I said, anything can happen, but I don't know. I'm your host, Tamberwolf. Thank you for joining me. Again, you can find me at awoofm@gmail.com, or just Tamberwolf on Tumblr. If you search for that, you'll probably find me. CanisLupusMusicus.tumblr.com is where I'm at if you want to say hi.